5:45 p.m., which means it's time for BCTV's weekly media roundup, 5:45 Live. I'm Abby Sherlock.
And I'm Roland Boyden. On deck tonight, we'll take you back to Bernie's rally in Manchester last weekend. We'll show you downtown Brattleboro's big tree lighting ceremony, and we'll get you caught up on all the latest police fire stuff, and there is a lot to catch you up on. All that and more, plus it's a gallery walk jam-packed edition of the calendar. We'll get you that as well, and we'll do it all in 15 minutes. So stick with us right here on 5:45 Live.
Hello, welcome to the Winter Farmers Market. This is our 10th season, and we're hoping it'll be our best yet.
Welcome back to this December 4th, 2015 edition of 5:45 Live. Now, that's footage of the Winter Farmers Market, which is now into its second month, offering patrons a continuation of the popular summer market atmosphere inside the heated comfort of the River Garden. Runs 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. each and every Saturday through the winter. Now, that short clip, an excerpt of a larger expose from BCTV producer Maria Dominguez, whose half-hour special on the winter installment of the market is slated to run all this coming week on BCTV Channel 8 and is already available to stream at BrattleboroTV.org.
All right, and with that, into the headlines we go. As promised, we'll get an update into the police fire upgrade in a moment, but first, this past Friday, BCTV producer and 545 News specialist James Banslaben got to flip the switch on Brattleboro's Piney Park-based lighting array as part of the annual downtown tree lighting ceremony. And if you haven't been downtown post-sunset this week, it's worth a trip to see the lighting array assembled each year by Missy Galanes and Dick DeGray and assisted by James himself. Now, that's an event that served as the headliner to a Black Friday full of downtown Christmas commerce fun captured on camera by James in order to promote local shopping during the Christmas crush, as area businesses have gone all out decorating for the holiday season.
All right, and with that, it's time to talk Brattleboro Select Board, as they, along with Town Manager Peter Elwell and Police/Fire Chiefs Mike Fitzgerald and Mike Bukasi, wrapped up a marathon session of public info meetings on the police fire upgrade project. That was all with open meetings hosted at Green Street Academy and BAM School, providing in-depth presentations on the floor plans, finances, and overall mentality of the revised upgrade, something Peter Elwell took opening comments to explain. The town hopes will demonstrate to the public just how diligently savings to the taxpayers were sought after while maintaining the functionalities necessary to such a vital piece of town infrastructure.
From springtime through the summer, worked together with the town's management team from the public safety departments and other town staff to review how we could indeed squeeze these plans down, find some savings so that we can really modernize these facilities and fully serve the community, but at what we could stand up before you in a meeting like this and represent to be what we believe to be the lowest possible cost to do the full-scale modernization. And we're here to tell you that we believe we have achieved that.
Now, that clip, courtesy of James Banslaben, recorded at BAMS this week, wrapping up 3 identical public info nights, the second of which, hosted at Academy School, was taped officially for BCTV by field producer Rich Melanson and put together with slide inserts, ASL interpretation, and posted online with all the accompanying materials. That's at the Brattleboro Select Board's official series landing page, all at BrattleboroTV.org. Now that public outreach blitz has come and gone, what's next? Well, at this week's regular meeting, the board did debate next steps, with David Gardenstein expressing his thoughts that a non-binding article on the ballot could provide useful intel on where the voters as a whole are at, even if the final decision must procedurally be left to the town meeting body in March.
It may be something to consider to put some sort of an item or items on that March 1st ballot, asking, for example, whether the voters think that we should complete the financing for the project involving rebuilding the facilities and moving them up to moving the police department up to Putney Road.
Now, speaking of police upgrades, quick turnaround for Brat PD on a new police cruiser this week, starting with the select board approving a slew of new DPW and police vehicles at their regular meeting on Tuesday, and seeing new cruisers delivered to the Municipal Center yesterday, something BCTV producer Russ Graybeck was on hand to capture a few clips of as they brought the cruiser in.
All right, next up, with Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders deep into his presidential campaign, he's scarcely been seen in his home state, sure most believe to fall his way in the primary, but just across the Connecticut River, the Granite State will provide a key battleground in the Clinton-Sanders showdown set to grace the primary. It was with that in mind that BCTV producer and 545 Live correspondent Esler Oreste headed to a Bernie rally this past week in Manchester, New Hampshire, providing us this in-depth look at the face-off between the supporters for the two leading Democrats.
Last Sunday, I went to Manchester, New Hampshire, where the Democrats were having their Jefferson-Jackson dinner. I didn't get to see any of the candidates, but I was able to see a lot of Bernie Sanders supporters. We played games, ate cotton candy, and overall had a lot of fun. I talked to them and see why they like Bernie Sanders, and this is what they said.
Why are you excited about Bernie Sanders? Well, things that drew me to Bernie, I think he's somebody who's been a progressive fighter for a very long time, even before it was popular, fighting money in politics, combating climate change.
Thanks to Esler for getting us that video of the Bernie rally, and he's headed back to Keene as Sanders himself will make an appearance at a town hall meeting this coming weekend. And we hope to get you some footage of that to show on 545 Live on next week's edition. All right, moving on. It's December, and that means the annual food and fundraiser project Feed the Thousands is getting into full swing. From assemblies at the high school and area elementary schools to a proclamation from Tim Johnson at this week's regular select board meeting to a half-hour interview in BCTV studios, it's all hands on deck when it comes to getting the word out about the critical local effort which seeks to raise enough non-perishable food items to fill 25 tractor-trailer trucks, an additional $100,000 in cash, which organizers hope will be enough to fund the Groundworks drop-in center shelves for the remainder of the year.
Project Feed is just really good at educating people whether somebody needs the food shelf or didn't know about the need. So I think Project Feed is just a great way for educating just the public in general and those in need.
That's Project co-chair Kelly Corbeil in BCTV's downtown studios talking about Project Feed the Thousands with WTSA's Tim Johnson, as well as Entergy's Mike McKinney and Brattleboro Subaru's John Shaka. And if you're thinking of donating yourself, either by making an online donation at the website, projectfeedthethousands.org, or by dropping a buck or two in any of the cash box locations at banks and stores all around the area, here's something to consider that I'm sure we'll repeat throughout the month as we continue to talk about Project Feed the Thousands. Now, Project Feed the Thousands is managed entirely by volunteer efforts, meaning 0% of your donation goes to cover administrative costs. Better still, food bank connections with wholesalers mean that a single dollar you donate to Project Feed the Thousands will buy about $8 of food for someone in need. Put a $5 bill in one of those cash boxes and you've just purchased close to $40 of food. $10 bill buys you $80, and so on and so forth. Point being, even the smallest of donations goes a heck of a long way when it comes to keeping Project Feed the Thousands funded.
Moving on, Windham County Sheriff Keith Clark proposed a criminal detainee and resource facility to the Rockingham Select Board last Tuesday evening. The facility would use the old chemo building, which has been out of use for around 20 years. According to Clark, the facility would not be a prison but a welcoming facility and allow detainees to recover and transition safely back to society. The facility would be operated as a business and not be supported by county taxes. Moving forward, Keith Clark will continue to do research as well as meet with some Westminster officials about the project. Next up, with winter well on its way, BUHS Future Business Leaders of America prepped for the cold this past week, creating custom earmuffs using shorn wool from a local sheep in a workshop led by Townsend's Rich Heggie, as students produced over 65 homemade earmuffs to help keep warm the ears of Brattleboro residents, donating the fruits of their efforts to the drop-in center.
And that was an event, Abby, that you were on hand to document as you're part of FBLA, creating, along with the editing aid of BUHS TV teacher Allison Cram, this spotlight video look.
I've been doing it for 40 years almost, guys. So. Okay, so basically, you loop this over your knee so that this is the part you're going to work with.
Okay.
Loop that down over the frame, and then with your fingers, you come down here and loop it back under. Just a little bit longer.
All right, we're just a minute or so out from our video calendar, but first time for our I-91 Bridge update segment, as we occasionally like to check in with construction happenings at the massive undertaking over the West River between exits 1 and 2 in Brattleboro. As the town braces for another rather disruptive set of closings, starting this coming Tuesday, the 8th of December from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. when all southbound traffic between exits 3 and 2 will be closed, followed the next day, Wednesday, the 9th, by all northbound traffic being closed, also between exits 2 and 3, also from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Now, for more info updated regularly on all the stuff related to the bridge construction project, you can visit their official website, i91brattleboro.bridge.com. And speaking of Brattleboro roads, the winter parking ban will go into effect tomorrow, so make sure not to leave your car on the street between 11 p.m. and 7 a.m. anytime the flashing purple lights go on in the parking lots around town. And for more, you can check the DPW section of the town website at brattleboro.org, or find statewide road closing / winter weather transportation info at 511vt.com. All right, with that, it's time to launch into our BCTV video calendar, and with tonight being Gallery Walk, downtown Brattleboro is filled with lots of activity, and Gallery Walk does have its own website, gallerywalk.org, where you can find out all about it for yourself, or just head downtown. It all starts at 5 p.m. You can walk up and down Main Street and check it out for yourself. In the meantime, further along on the calendar, we've got plenty more bullets. I'll turn it back over to you, Abby.
Next up on the calendar tomorrow night, area artists Liz Lavorgna and Wyatt Andrews get set to unveil their month-long mixed media show at the River Garden entitled Coffee and Conversation, Stories of Homelessness, an exhibit of photographs, video, and audio that bring together pairs of people in the community, one with stable housing, one without, to converse over a cup of coffee, helping to reduce the stigma of homelessness and bridge the gap between those of us lucky enough to have a place to call home and those without.
We paired up two sets of people, people who have stable housing and people who are or have been recently homeless.
You don't just see the humanity in these people and in these conversations, but you really get to hear it, and you really get to, in some way, participate in a whole nother dimension with the photography.
I had told everybody when I started photographing their conversation, I'm gonna be shooting, and you guys can keep talking. You don't have to stop. And they didn't. I was done. My camera's down, and everyone's still talking. So it was just really great to see how people were able to connect and how the connections in many of the cases stayed.
That's Liz Lavorgna and Wyatt Andrews talking about their Coffee and Conversation, Stories of Homelessness exhibit, which opens tomorrow night at the River Garden from 7 to 11 p.m. and will remain on display through the month of December, including an ever-growing community art wall installation at the downtown space.
All right, moving on with the calendar, 2 different holiday sales going on this weekend to highlight, and we're going to start with the 17th Annual Cotton Mill Open Studio and Holiday Sale, which runs both Saturday and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., as the artists, musicians, bakers, performers, and craftspeople of the Cotton Mill open their doors to peddle their wares in time for the holidays. And this weekend also marks the first year that West Brattleboro artists bring their showcase downtown, utilizing the newly opened 118 Elliott Street space across from the fire station in downtown, with a 17-artist-rich 3-day sale that started today and continues all through the weekend. Pieces ranging from paintings, photography, and botanical drawings to pottery, textiles, woven baskets, jewelry, metalworks, and glasswork, again tomorrow and Sunday at 118 Elliott.
Next up on the calendar, Brooks Memorial Library will also have a holiday book sale on Saturday from 10 to 6 and Sunday from 10 to 5. The sale is the perfect opportunity to buy gifts for the holidays, and the library will offer a wide variety from holiday-themed books, fiction, children's books, and many nonfiction titles.
A few things to wrap up here on this Friday edition of 545 Live, including checking out the weather courtesy of the high school's morning news advisory broadcast crew, BUHS TV. Take it away, guys. What's this weekend's weather look like?
Saturday is going to be partly cloudy again, 46 to 27. And then Sunday, partly cloudy, 48 to 30. And then Monday, the sun will come out again because it loves us.
Well, that does it for another edition of 545 Live. Thanks for watching.